It's a sport-specific action, movement, sequence that you specifically do in sports to load in a lateral change of direction, to sprint, to jump. This is the exact movement pattern, and that's why I believe wholeheartedly it should be implemented into your training right now. So let's go through it. So the first thing you wanna do is you wanna square your body up with the wall. So we don't wanna be sideways or anything, we wanna be perfectly straight. Now this is a unilateral exercise, so we're gonna be on one leg at a time. So we're gonna stagger our stance just to get into proper positioning. I'm gonna have my left leg up, my right leg back. From here, we wanna have our big toe, second toe pointed straight ahead. Because in sports, we wanna have a straight foot on contact to give us more abilities to make greater decisions. So if your foot is turned out, it doesn't give us many options, or we're not in a safe, secure position. So we wanna have big toe, second toe pointed straight ahead. From here, we want to have all of our weight distributed on the outside edge of our foot. So we don't want to collapse into pronation. We don't want to go into the big toe or put any pressure onto that big toe. So we want to have all the weight distributed onto the outside edge, and we're going to lift our heel off the ground. Why? Because sports, we're on the balls of our feet. We're also now going to think about my shoulders. I'm going to pretend I have a laser beam on my left and right shoulder, on my left kneecap, and also at my right kneecap. So this front leg is going to be our landing position. This is the position in sports where we absorb, load, and then explode through the hip. So when I'm in my position here, I'm going to point my laser beams upon impact 22.5 degrees away from my midline or my belly button. So I'm going to open up that knee, and now I have my heel off the ground. I have my knee pointed 22.5 degrees. I have my shoulder pointed 22.5 degrees, and I have my back heel away from my body, pointed 22.5 degrees in line with my front leg. Now that's going to create what? It's going to create an arc or bow shape. That's the sport-specific position of most durability, most safety, most security, but the most amount of power production, absorption within the bow and in the hip to produce power in the forward locomotion state, the horizontal position, or the vertical position. So now that I have my positioning, all I want to do is I'm going to hold the position, and once I feel more comfortable, I'll let my back leg off the ground. And you notice here, if my left leg is up, my right hand is on the wall for support. I take my opposite hand and I bring it just beside my pocket of the front leg. Now I'm in a more advantageous sport-specific position, and I'm just gonna hold this, and my head is in line with the front leg. So I'm gonna have all my columns lined up. So my head is in line with my shoulder, my hip, my knee, and my foot. Now I've maximized the positioning. I've opened up my front leg into that big, strong, stable bow. I'm sitting back. I'm not dropping down into the squat. I've hinged and then dropped into it. That's what we call the drop in. And my back heel is away from my body. So I'm gonna hold this position until I feel that big stretch, or that muscle, that backside glute muscle, kind of load up. And this is the movement you do 10, 20, 30, 40, 50 repetitions. Your hip, from your ankle all the way up to that hip complex, is going to be on fire.